Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are on a Tuesday night, and we're not going to be going into Battle World, but we're going to be heading back to Haddonfield. That's where we're going. We got a really good, fun conversation for tonight. We're going to be continuing our great Halloween debates. We're going to be talking about Halloween 2 from 1981, not the one we did last night, which was Rob Zombies. We're not doing that one. We're doing the 1981 one. We got Eric with me, Kill, and Coriander, of course. And guys, this is going to be really interesting. You know, we're talking about the Halloween franchise going film by film and kind of doing this almost like Battle World style, where we're ranking the film based on categories. And this will ultimately give us a ranking of the franchise, which will hopefully kind of take away some of the biases, that we all have, myself included. And so far, the point totals that we have been really interesting because we've talked about the two Rob Zombie movies and The Curse of Michael Myers. And man, I don't know, it's pretty crazy so far. But real quick, you guys in the chat, thank you for being here. We see you guys. We got a blanket hello to everyone. We got Russell in the house. What's up, Russell? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. We got Robert in the house. What's up, Robert? Good to see you, man. Zeducation is here. Welcome. Glad to have you back. Let's see. Mac is in the chat. Good to see you. Let's see. Who else do we have? We got Shape in the house saying for this one, all fives across the board. Well, I don't know. He's so funny, man. He was like giving fives on Zombies Halloween. He's like 5. You're all right, man. David is in the house. What's up? Good to see you. We got Vinyl in the chat. All right. Saying hopefully some higher numbers. We'll see. We'll see. You never know. Mayan, what's good? See you here. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Let's see. Jericho's in the house. Welcome to the chat. Say, I've watched the previous videos in the last 24 hours in preparation for this. Let's go. All right. That's what I like to hear. That's awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate the support. Awesome stuff. Let's see. And we got Neon Black Reveals. What's up, man? Neil, good to have you here, man. Good to have you. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Gene. Hope you guys are doing well. All right. And Jerry just gifted a channel membership. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. For real. That really helps us out. And very generous, man. Let's see. I'm not sure who got it. I'm looking on my list here. It looks as though it went to Russell. All right. Very, very cool. Welcome back, Russell. Awesome stuff, man. Okay. Aubrey's in the house. What's up, Aubrey? Good to see you as well. And Atril. We got the whole crew here. And by the way, if you guys haven't hit the like button yet, please do. It helps us to support us, and we'd appreciate it. Okay, man. So look, hopefully Coriander will be back with us in a second. So we are going to, there we go. We are going to be going through multiple categories. There she is. All right. What's up?
All right. Hey,
That's
sorry.
all right. That's all right. So we've got multiple categories that we're going to be discussing for Halloween 2. And let me pull those up. We've got Michael Myers himself. We're going to be rating him in a category. We've got the story, the final girl. The worst scene is a talking point that we'll get to. The best scene is also a talking point that we'll get to. The kills is a category, mythology, atmosphere, characters, the cinematography, the sound design, and of course, the mask, directing, and the it factor. We will also be talking about the it factor. So listen, first of all, quick thoughts. Kill, any opening thoughts on Halloween 2, what it means to you?
I love this film, and that's one of the reasons why I'm glad we chose this one. But of course, because of the new trilogy, some people are looking at it as, oh, well, that film has been retconned. That film is irrelevant now. But I think it's still relevant because, this was one that, and this night, this one got played a lot. Like, for some
Yes.
reason, I think back in the day, this one would be on TV more than the original. And it doesn't, it doesn't get scarier than Hospital at Night, with the skeleton crew,
That's right. And and I'm sure we'll get to that too. Coriander, how about you? What are your opening quick thoughts on 2?
Uh, I like how it takes place the same night.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, it's not a bad movie, but
All right.
things that are in it that are like questionable, but that's just me.
Okay.
So whatever.
All right. All right. Eric, how about you?
Jeez. Yeah, it's a great follow up. Like if you're watching them back to back, but it's not one of my favorites.
Okay.
When Michael's not on screen, I'm sure we'll get into
Mm-hmm.
that. With some of the categories. But when he is, it definitely ups the entertainment factor. So it's one of those. When Michael's not there, we're waiting for Michael. Hurry up and get Michael back on the screen. But when he's there, I'm fully invested. So it's
Mm-hmm.
one of those 50-50 entries for me.
All right. Okay. I agree with everything you guys said, and for me, it's a special movie. This was the first Halloween movie I ever saw, so it's special to me in that sense. After I made it through the original Friday the 13th, and Kill, you remember we used to watch, movies at night. They'd play, marathons or whatever, and they played this movie, and it got me, man. And then I had to go back and watch 78, and I was off running. So it's definitely a movie that means a lot. But again, we're going to be scoring this by categories, so we'll see where we go. All right, before we pull up the categories, The Shape is coming in with a $5 super chat. With thanks a lot, man. We appreciate you. Say, is that 10 fives?
That's more than 10.
Boom, mic drop. Oh yeah. All right, look, man. Shape, thank you so much, man. And it's so good to have you around and stuff like that, and hanging out with us. So let's do a super chat for Shape. And Kill, sometimes when you think that you are special, some things kind of get in the way and come back at you. And it might look like this.
Right in the kisser. Show that knight who's boss. Oh God.
Yay!
There it is, man. Sometimes stuff happens.
Is she alive?
Yeah. she's alive.
Jesus.
Probably not.
Wow.
Thanks so much, Shape. We appreciate you, man.
Wow.
Oh Lord. And hey, we got Ben in the house. Aubrey saying, "This is my comfort movie." That's a good way to word it. I like that word.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Shape coming in again, man, saying the best scene, you don't know what death is. I love the opening, man. Oh man, so true. So true, man. Thank you so much, brother. Neil saying that's gonna leave a mark. Yeah, I think so, man. All right, let's pull up the wheel. There's the wheel. We got the queen in the middle looking at us, Kill. You're gonna be the first up, leading off the talking points. So we have 10 let me explain this again. We have 10 categories. Okay, 2 that are talking points. So this is random. That's what makes it really fun. We don't know where it's going to land, but we're going to end up scoring 10 categories, and it's 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the best. And we can have half points. So Coriander, I know you're happy about this because you could do a 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. We finally got 0.5s in this thing,
How about 3/4? No?
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
All
right.
right. Just asking.
Hey, look, Steven's in the house too, man. What's
Hey,
up,
Steve.
Hey.
Steven? Good to have you here, man. Catherine's in the chat too, said if she's okay, that was fantastic. She is. She is. Thank you for being here, Catherine. We appreciate you. All right, let's spin this wheel and see what we get first off, Kill. Here we go. boy. It's a good way to start this thing off. Sound design. The sound design of the film. So, Kill, tell me what you think of the sound design for Halloween 2, and then what's the point total you'll give it, 1 to 5?
Well, I mean, especially the earlier Halloween films, the sound design is brilliant. And I'm assuming we're also including kind of like music and so forth. Okay.
Yep.
So if you guys have seen us do any of these debates, if it's a Halloween movie, that's the cheat code. That's the up, down, down, left, right, BA.
Left, right, BA, start.
Yeah.
Only legends know that. But the sound is going to be great. The score is going to be great. The little twings of the score that will just pop in just occasionally, or that classic dun dun dun, and it's just Mr. Happy walking through the halls of the hospital, stalking people. No one sees this giant man with the mask on. But so what I would say for sound design, I would say let's go 4.
Okay, we got a 4 for sound design. Awesome. Eric, how about you? What do you think about sound design for Halloween 2?
Yeah, Kill said it perfectly. I'm gonna definitely go 4.5 because first off, we have the Halloween theme, and it's different. There's little changes in this one to the original one, and I prefer it. It sounds different. It sounds more intense to me. And like Kill said, you mentioned the dun dun, the stalking type of thing. That's Jaws right there. You just replace one killer shark for another killer shark in baggy overalls. You know what I mean? It's used so well.
Come on.
It's used so well. And then the way it starts, because we're also talking, soundtrack as well. Perfect use of Mr. Sandman beginning and end. It's definitely, I think, well deserved 4.5.
All right. Very, very cool. Coriander, how about you? What do you think about the sound design?
Yeah, I'll go 4. Yeah.
You're going with a 4? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. For me, I think, and you guys said it really well. The thing that gets me too about 2 is as good as 1 is, as good as 78 is, I think in some ways, and I'm not saying all the way, but I think in some ways that 2 was able to match it and even surpass it a little bit. It's definitely a more intense version of the theme. You had Alan Howarth come in and help out with John Carpenter and so forth, and kind of give it that synthesizer, vibe. And you guys said it, man. You guys know it, especially Kill. You know this as well as anyone. That finale, once that music comes on, it's like it's almost perfect, man, because it just really gets you in the zone. I agree with you guys 100%. I'm going with a 5. I'm 5. All right. Let's see what we got in the chat and see what these guys are saying. Vinyl said, excellent use of the busted soundbite, Eric. Nicely done. That's right.
It's true.
Steven, you're right, man. Don't get sick in Haddonfield or Woodsboro. No one works in the hospitals. It's the emptiest hospital of all time, man. It really is. It nobody is there. We were talking about it as we rewatched it. And I said to Coriander, I said, look at this. Nobody, don't get sick. This is the wrong place to go if you get sick, man. What's up, Ben? Okay, let's go to our next category. We're going to be spinning it for you, Eric, to start us off. Let's see what we get. There it is. Oh, stay on it, baby. Woo! So close. There we go. The Mask. The Mask. Eric, what do you think of with The Mask?
I'm going to go a solid 4.5 because it's pretty. I mean, I know it's the same mask they used in the original, but it's faded a little bit. Dick Warlock is a much smaller man than Nick Castle, so it doesn't fit as proper. But it's when you're talking continuity, because that's important. When it takes place the same night, it's not like someone cuts their hair and you have to put a bad wig on her type of thing. the mask, in my opinion, looks really good, and the way it's shown in a lot of scenes. We still have that one scene where he appears in the shadows right behind one of the nurses, or
Yes.
the way I think maybe it's the therapy pool, like the green is reflecting like off his mask. It makes it
Mhm.
look very off, even though it's the same mask. So that makes it also a little more uncomfortable to look at, comparing to
Mhm.
how it was in the first movie. So yeah, definite 4.5.
Right. Okay. Well said.
Really good.
Coriander, how about you?
I agree. 4.5, definitely. The mask, it looked nice. If the
Mhm.
first one is always going to be the best, but the follow up, yeah, it looked good.
All right. Well said. Well said. Kill, how about you? What do you think about For the Mask?
I mean, this is the second movie, so they didn't do the stupid thing of like ruining the original mask or losing it or just throwing it in the back of someone's pickup truck. This is easily a 5 for me.
Ooh.
Because it's so close,
Mhm.
to the original, which is also a 5 for me. So, and it's just perfection, and
Mhm.
as these films go on, it's peaks and valleys on how the masks look. So, yeah,
Touche.
I got to give it its flowers now while it's still crisp.
That's right, man. And you're right. It's peaks and valleys on how the mask look or how the mask is not there. And,
Oh,
you
for
know,
God's
there
sakes.
hey, I was ready, Eric.
I was waiting.
Mm.
Didn't you do that enough last night?
I love you, man. Hey, look, every let me bring us up here. Hold on. Eric, it was like every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
In my head,
I
I
should
had a
I
countdown.
should have had
and
a clicker, every time you did it.
I'd throw up a picture or two of Hobo, and I knew every time you did that Eric head shake. I knew every
Yeah.
time, man. It's all love, though. It's all love.
Of course.
Hey, look, real quick before I give my score on the mask, we got our good buddy Neil celebrating 10 months being a channel member.
Good for
And
you.
let me just say, man, Neil, really appreciate you, man. Seriously, just always being with us, joining us on panels, hanging out, being so supportive, being so generous to the community. It really makes a difference. And we're so happy that you're happy here, that you enjoy being here and spend your time, which is precious. All of you guys, time is precious. But thank you so much, man. Seriously. And he's saying the sound design for 2 is so magical that it made a 6-shot revolver fire 7 times. I shot him 7 times. It's so true, man. It's so true. Thank you so much, man. We've got Paula giving it a 5. Wow. Atrial going with a 4. Okay, Russell going 4.5. And May, thank you so much for reminding people to hit the like. Let's get to 40 likes. We appreciate that. Shape coming in again, $5 super chat, saying I shot him 6 times, but I reloaded really fast and shot him a 7th time. It's so true, man. It's so true. Hey, look, Shape. I love the emojis he gave too, man. Steven says the mask is a 4.5. All right. Very cool. We got Val in the house. The general's here. Very cool. Hope you're doing well, Val. Awesome to have you here. We got MAGA in the house. Good to see you too. All right. Now, for me, the mask, I think, is, and I said this the other day when we talked about Curse. This mask is the last time we're going to be happy with a mask for 14 years, people. 14 years. For me, anyways, until Curse of Michael Myers in 95. You get what I'm saying? It was a long road. No disrespect to the late great George P. Wilbur in 4, who again reprised him in 6. No disrespect to Don Shanks. Corey and I, we love Don Shanks in 5. But the mask, come on. But
4 is my favorite, and even I say he looks like a mime. Okay, so
he does, man. It's like, stop it, guys. You guys got more money than that to spend.
Yeah.
So I love this mask, and it worked really well with Warlock. I'm gonna give it a 4.5. I absolutely love this mask. It's creepy. The first time I saw it, it just got to me as a kid. It really, really did. So I'm going 4.5. Okay. Let's see what we have for our next category. Coriander, you're going to be starting us off. Let's spin this wheel and see what we get. There it is. All right. Very, very cool. Okay. It's final girl time, talking about Laurie. What do you think about Laurie in this film, what Jamie Lee Curtis did, and what's the point total that you want to give it?
I mean, I can't really complain about, Lori or Miss Jamie Lee Curtis. She's like one of my favorite, final girls. And yeah, it sucks that she was in the hospital bed and out of it and, crawling around and passing out. And, but still towards the end, it picked up and, she was, doing what she had to do to survive. And yeah, I'm going to give her a 4.
Okay, we're going with a 4. Kill, how about you? What do you think about Laurie in this film?
Well, see, this is one of those points of contention here with this movie, because this one reminds me a lot like Halloween Kills, where Laurie's in it, but she's in a hospital bed for the most part, and rightfully so. It's the same night this poor woman or young girl is going through a lot.
That's right.
And for me, in a way, this is more of a Loomis film.
Yes.
So with that, I'm gonna have to go lower, because she doesn't really do too much in the film, obviously until she has to. So I'm gonna give it a 3 for Final Girl 3.
All right, well said. Eric, how about you?
And like we always say, like whether it's like a debate like this or Battle World, we're always discussing the specific film of the night. I just got done watching it, and I still, in my opinion, I don't think she really does much until maybe the last 20 minutes. And if she's a final girl, and that's what we're basing on, I'm going to give her a generous 2.5. It's nothing against Jamie as an actress, but as the Laurie character, she really doesn't do jack until the very end. And that's, that's being honest. They don't give her much to do. That's part of the story, but for this category, 2.5.
All right. Yep. Well said. Well said. Before I give my point total, let me jump in here to the chat. Mayanne saying all the disrespect to the masks. Yep, that's right. So many of them just didn't. Oof, old Hollywood fan in the chat. What's up? Glad to have you here. Saying I can still remember watching Halloween's television premiere in '81. Then when it ended with that ending, bam, commercial for Halloween 2 came on. It was amazing. Yeah. It's all anyone talked about on Monday at school. That is so cool, man. Back then, you could have those conversations at school. I know I did. Me and Kill did together with our cousins. Movies, especially horror movies, it was very special back then for a lot of those reasons. So it's definitely good memories. No doubt at all. Jericho's saying, I think he's talking about 4. He looks like Data from Star Trek in 4.
Yep. Yes, he does.
He does. That's too funny.
I think it looks worse.
Yes.
It's like they took his mask and they put it on one of them space heaters, and you have during the wintertime, and they forgot to take it off and it kind of melted. It's, as much as I love 4, I can't defend the mask one bit.
We never can. We'll never forget. Zeducation saying Halloween wouldn't be the same movies without Donald Pleasance. Absolutely. No doubt. Val saying, Laurie in this one is a 3.5. What time she was on screen was okay. She gets the 0.5 for being a great shot. There you go. 2 shots. That's right. Eli's in the house saying, what's up, everyone? Good to have you here. Hope you're doing well. And again, if you guys haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps us out. All right. So for me, when we talk about Final Girl, you guys made some really great points. She is sidelined. She's not doing a hell of a lot until the end. I mean, the movie revolves around her because he's searching for her, and the people in the hospital are trying to care for her. And of course, Jimmy is, just trying to have this pseudo romance with her. So a lot of things are happening because of her, but she doesn't really get involved until the end. But it's a fantastic finale, and because of that finale alone, I'm going to also go with a 3. I'm going to agree with I think it was you, Kill, that went with a 3. I think that she just, she did enough to be good, even though she was sidelined for this film. So, all right, very, very cool. Jamie, what's up? Said it's a category for the wig. I know. I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. As a kid though, I never thought about it. As a kid, I just was like, oh, her hair. It's funny. Mayanne reminding people, take a second and hit the like button. Absolutely. So the stream can reach more Halloween lovers. We appreciate that. We really do. And by the way, we had a poll today for the channel members and the Patreon members, because we'll be releasing the point total for each of these films we've done for you members first. So if you're not a member and you'd like to become part of the community and hang out with us, exclusive watch parties and hangouts and content, hit the join button next to the subscribe button, and you will find out the point totals. So far, Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, is in the lead. People want to know what the final score was for Halloween 2. So I think that's what it's going to be. But all right. I'm okay with it too, man, because I haven't even calculated yet. I calculated 6 and 2007 and H2O. And it's, like I said, it's surprising. Surprising. All right. I'm going to start off this talking point. Let's spin the wheel, see what we get. Oh, okay. All right. The talking point is the worst scene, or what we think is the scene that we're not a big fan of. I'm going to be honest with you. I consider the worst scene, and this is not a cop-out, but it's not a specific scene. It's more so that when you get into and Eric, you said it perfectly, when you get into the middle of the film, and when I first watched it, I'm so invested in Laurie, but she's sidelined. You've got a good 25-minute stretch, where she's literally out. You got Jimmy talking to her, whispering sweet nothings in her ear while she's knocked out because of the medication and everything. And that was kind of a bummer. The flip side of it, though, and Kill, you said it perfectly, this is such a Loomis-centric film that I enjoyed that part of it so much. So that's what I think. Kill, how about you? What's the worst scene in this film, or a moment that you're not a big fan of, if at all? You may not have one, but if at all.
Well, maybe I'm going to come at this in a different manner, not a technical worst scene, like, oh, the way it was shot was weird, but just kind of the effed up thing that happens. Can I come at it from that angle?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I love Donald Pleasance, rest in peace. He's just walking through the street with the sheriff towards the beginning of it. He's got a gun, and he sees kids get away from him. And it's just a poor man that just happens to have an outfit on that might look like Michael from the back. And this poor guy, he's like, let me get away from this crazy guy. He just cuts through the street, and then the cop car is just like, whoa. It happens so fast. It's like a house of dominoes. It's like crazy man with a gun scaring kids and scaring this, I don't know, older adult or teenager or tall kid who we don't really know. I mean, I think we find out later on, like, oh, that was Jimmy or whatever. But he's just like, all right, I got to get away from this guy. He's just crossing the street, and the cop car's like, I couldn't slow down. Runs into another vehicle, sandwiches this poor man, blows him up. He's burnt to a crisp. Hey, hey, Sheriff, we got some bodies over here, and like, all right, well, adios, amigo, let's go.
It's insane. Like, the cop car was the only car on that road. Why was it driving 90 miles an hour?
It was,
and so now, correct me if I'm wrong, Haddonfield's like a suburb. Why
Yes,
is he
it
driving
is.
that fast in the suburbs as well?
That's
Because
right.
there's a
Hey,
killer
they're
on
looking
the
for
loose.
Michael. You gotta drive fast, man.
It's on Halloween.
Well-
Kids are crossing the street with trick or
Yeah,
treat.
that's
He's out
true, too. It's
killing.
Halloween.
He's out killing.
Coriander's like, go faster. Find that son of a bitch.
Pretty much.
The kids should
I
know
know.
better. Yeah.
And then they
Yeah.
just pack up and just leave the body
That's
still
right.
cooking. Just toast the marshmallow, make some s'mores on this body. At least call the ambulance or the coroner or someone to come and get poor Jimmy, who was just crossing the street. So yes, there you go. I'm sorry. I always thought that scene was messed up.
All right, man. Eric, how about you? Do you have a scene that you're not a big fan of, or you consider your worst scene?
Yeah, I wouldn't use the term worst scene, but the reason why I say it well, I'm gonna pick the scene where is it Jimmy is like the guy that's kind of falling for Lori.
Yeah.
He walks in and he finds the nurse being drained of blood. And the reason why I'm picking that is just it seems so freaking out of place. You know,
Yeah.
Michael is a guy that likes to strangle. Michael is a guy that likes to stab. If he's feeling froggy, he'll burn someone in the water. You know what I mean? The therapy bath. But the fact that he knows how to do it, and then he just decides to just drain this woman and waste his time when he's supposed to be looking for his sister. He's going to attempt a one-person blood transfusion, and then Jimmy, he's walking slowly to her, doesn't slip on the blood when he's walking to her. It's sneakers on a linoleum floor. You're gonna hear the splash, or excuse me, or anything like that. And then he just turns around, runs, flips, knocks himself out. Why? Did we really even need that scene? I mean, if you want to kill the nurse, just do it old school Myers style. Don't become, Dexter and do something like that.
Right.
It just felt so out of place for something Michael would do, especially this early on before he's going a little crazy with other weapons and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I always thought to myself that was a messed up scene, and freaking Jimmy, man, you gotta, and Lance Guest. Shout out to Lance Guest. By the way, and Coriander, you remember this when we interviewed Catherine Mary Stewart from Night of the Comet. She was staying at Lance Guest his guest house while we were interviewing her, and we were this close to him coming on camera during a live interview. For you guys in the chat, if you haven't checked that out, check it out. It was a fantastic interview. Catherine is an amazing person, but we almost got like Lance Guest in the interview too, and that's the question I would have asked them. It's like, why'd you do that in that scene? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just didn't make sense. From everything I've heard, he's such a great guy too. He loves the fans. He's so cool. But anyways, good pick, Eric. Coriander, how about you? Do you have a scene that you would consider as, not your favorite or worst scene?
I have a couple, but I'm gonna pick the one that is like the worst because it brought a movie that just sucks really bad. Is when he breaks into that damn school and writes Sam Hain on the frigging chalkboard. And I'm surprised there wasn't like a rune and everything else. The Man in Black in the corner, something.
Cult of Thorn.
Yeah.
And let me just say something.
Young Paul Rudd is in the hospital. Paul Rudd's the kid with the blade who in his mouth.
Yes.
It all comes full circle.
Let me just say something. You win. You win. That's the best response of the night because that is such a deep cut. Good for you, girl. Yeah. Seriously, that was excellent. You got me thinking. Right. That was great. Thank you. That was a great
You're
answer.
welcome.
Thank you so much. We got Neil saying the FedEx guy just handed me Blu-rays for Sting and The First Omen. Oh yeah, that's a good movie. And Argento's Phenomena and Tenebrae. Wow, is it Christmas or something? Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's a good haul, man. Very cool. Also in the chat, we got Greg in the chat. What's up, Greg? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Saying, man, this is like cartoons coming on at night in the 80s. Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
That is.
We definitely have some fun here. Glad to have you here. Hope you're enjoying the conversation. Ginger Ninja in the house. Our brother. What's up, man? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well too, man. All right. Let's get ready to spin this wheel again. and see what we get. This is fun. I like this.
Do you have a worse scene? What's yours, Knight? Did you pick?
Well, yeah, I just said I just felt like, during that middle sequence, especially when
That's
Laurie
right.
was knocked out, it just kind of it just hit me the wrong way. I mean,
Okay.
I understand why, because she's basically shelved into the end, so you wonder if she can survive, right? And it's Loomis's movie, but I do wish we could have
Okay.
gotten a little bit more Laurie, even just being awake, but she was knocked out from the medication. I was like, come on, man, what are you doing? This is Jamie Lee Curtis, boy. All right, let's spin this wheel. Kill, you're gonna start off with this talking point. Let's see what we get. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Did it click over? Yes, it did. Cinematography, man. So, Kill, what do you think of the cinematography for Halloween 2, and what do you want to give a point for it?
I mean, for me, the cinematography was just a continuation of the first movie. The shape is in the darkness, and then you see the mask appearing. He's creeping around. He's stalking, other houses at the beginning of the movie in the streets. Coming into the kitchen, and the angles of him coming into the kitchen. The woman is slicing up a nice honey ham, and just his angle, hey, that ham looked delicious. I mean, she's cutting it straight off the bone, making sandwiches. You want mayonnaise? I'm like, that's beautiful.
How about mustard?
Yeah. And the angle of him just kind of coming right in, and he just kind of takes the knife, leaves a little blood, leaves a little DNA, for forensics. It just kind of comes out, and the way the camera is just kind of following him, or it's following a kid with like a boombox, and he bumps into this man. That man, you go to Vegas because you could die right now. So as far as the cinematography, for me, it's just it's top notch. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 because it's for me just a continuation of the first movie. There's subtle little things, the camera angles, the way it's either following him or just looking at the darkness, and then you see the shape. Perfection.
All right, man. Eric, before we get to you real quick, in the chat, we got Gummy in the house saying, hey, Gummy here from Iceland. Wow. That is awesome, man. It's so cool, man. We got people from Australia, like our man Ginger Ninja and Rachel, and we got people from Iceland. We got people like Gina across the pond. That is just so cool that you guys are hanging out with us. Cool. I really appreciate that, man. Jado saying, will y'all be talking about the Friday 13 movies as well, like this anytime soon? That's the plan. That's my plan. If you guys are enjoying this, which people seem to be, it's always about you guys. I've gotten, and Eric, you know this as well as anyone, being a content creator as well. It's about what works. If you guys are interested and if you guys are having fun with this, we're going to do it. If not, then we're not going to do it. So it looks as though people are enjoying this. And I'm really happy about that, because it's a different way to talk about these films and get an ultimate ranking based on a little bit more than our favorites or our bias. And plus, this is community style. You know what I mean? So you guys seem to be enjoying Halloween, and my thought was to do Friday the 13th as well. So that's the idea.
Normally I gotta be invited for streams, and I might sneak in for a Friday the 13th ones. I'll make myself available for Mondays or Fridays.
There you go, man. And I think you already got a seat for a specific one. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I figured I'd be getting a text message when that one came up.
Never forget. That's
right.
All right, man. So, Eric, what do you think about for the cinematography?
Kills correct, 4.5. Not just that tracking shot with the older woman and making the sandwich for her husband, and then it goes to the young lady who becomes the victim. But there's a lot of really great over the shoulder shots of Michael. You know what I mean? In the dark. So, and like he's on the left of your screen, you kind of just see his outline. You see the little red or brown puff of the hair type of thing, and then you see what he sees. That's great. And what I really like is when we are in the hospital, there's a lot of shots down those hallways, and you feel claustrophobic. Whether you're scared of hospitals like you are, Knight, you're uncomfortable or not, you feel uncomfortable at least watching these scenes, because you see the wall and you see how skinny these aisleways are, where are you going to run to? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that helps with it. So definitely 4.5.
All right. Sounds good. Coriander, how about you?
I'm gonna. I guess I'll go on the higher end. I guess, and
Mhm.
give it a 3.5. Just
Okay.
because, I mean, it's the hospital. It's the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
just a different, I don't know, viewpoint through the
Mm-hmm.
camera of either the security, you know, TV or whatever. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna
Okay.
do.
All
Yeah.
right. For me, I think the cinematography was really good. And Kill, you made a good point. It's really an extension of what they were able to do in the original film. The original film was just so groundbreaking because of the choices that Dean Cundey made. And it still to this day is just a fantastic looking movie. And they were smart to say, well, hey, let's have a lot of that aesthetic as well when you talk about how the camera moves, how it follows him. Like you said too, right off the bat in the beginning of the film, we're following Michael with the POV. And I thought that that was really smart because it makes you feel like you're watching one long movie. This is a great double feature. Um, but it's just a lot of great shots throughout the film. The hallway, again, Dean Cundey was able to make a hospital creepy. I mean, it really did. Yes, it's the emptiest hospital of all time, but it also felt so claustrophobic. So it was like it was doing two things at once. So for me, I think it was fantastic. I gotta agree with you, Kill, and Eric. I gotta go with a 4.5 on the cinematography. It was some fantastic stuff being done. All
Mhm.
right. Very, very cool. Let me just jump to the chat here. And Neil had said something funny. He said, I'm in Alabama. And he said it feels like another planet. Where is it? You know what? I can't speak for that specifically. But I'll believe you, Neil. He says, I'm in Alabama, which is like another planet. There you go.
Mm, yeah.
But definitely a lot of folks all over the world, man. International, no doubt at all. Okay. Next category. Eric, you're going to start us off with this.
Yes, sir.
Let's see what we get. Aha. All right. Looking good. The atmosphere. The atmosphere of the film. What do you think about the atmosphere in 2?
Uh, I'm gonna give it. I think a solid 4 because the scenes that are out in the open. You know what I mean? You have that
Mm-hmm.
scary feeling. You have the openness. You have the fact that it is the small town and the suburbs. You know what I mean? So if those type of situations feel more dangerous when it's just like your everyday town. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The everyday man lives there, and like I said, you feel creeped out in those hallways in the hospital because there's nowhere to run. And if you
Mm-hmm.
see him standing across from you, you have one direction pretty much to run. Um,
Mm.
and I think they do a really good job, and maybe a little bit better, making it scary or uncomfortable than the original.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've said it before, like with the original, you take out the music, you take out a lot of the scare factor. That is with this one as well, but I think there's more scare factor in this without the music than like the first one. So I think it's an improvement from the original. So I'm going to give it a
Mm.
4.
All right, we got a 4. Awesome. And Coriander, before I get to you real quick, Paula in the chat is giving a 5. Wow, we got a 5, another 5 out there. Cool. Catherine saying, I'm in Tucson, great place for a scary movie. But there you go. No doubt about that. Awesome. Steven saying atmosphere is super creepy and well done. A 4.5 for me. All right. All right. And Old Hollywood is also going with a 5 for atmosphere. Okay. Troy's in the house. What's up, Troy? Good to see you too. Gene saying, I still think they shouldn't have done a close-up of Michael when he came out in the end, came out in the red light. What do you think? Oh, you mean at the end? I never had a big problem with it. It's kind of one of those things where I think it was a choice just to amp up that scene, showing that Michael was going to be coming after Lori as she was trying to get back into the hospital. I didn't have a big problem with it too much. No. All right. Coriander, how about you for atmosphere? What do you think?
I think the first movie, if this was the first movie, for atmosphere, it would definitely get more, at least for me. I didn't, you know, I loved when he was outside walking through the streets. It was just too much in the hospital, and I get Lori was in it. What would they do? I get it. But I don't know. And some places should be dark, but it was just too much darkness, if you ask me. It should have been a little more lighter. You know what I mean? And then maybe, I don't know, maybe that would have added something more. I don't know. But I'm going to go with 3 because I just didn't find it. I'm not as, scared of hospitals. So I don't have that phobia. So that I can't add that into it. So yeah.
Okay. All right. 3 for atmosphere. Okay. Kill, how about you? What do you think about the atmosphere in this film?
I kind of agree with some of what Coriander was saying. Like, there were moments where it was a little too dark for me. And the hospital is both the biggest hospital in the world and the smallest hospital in the world. Right. Like two things could be true. It seems really huge in some scenes, and then other scenes it's like just a small little rural hospital. But the atmosphere is there. I mean, him walking around Haddonfield, and then we get away from that, and then him stalking through the hospital and being methodic, taking out security, cutting power, kind of making his way, just walking through the halls of this hospital, and no one sees him. I'm going to go a 4. I'm going to give it a solid 4 because it's not perfect, but the atmosphere is there for me.
Okay. All right. I agree with a lot of what you guys said. I think that there's some really good moments. Obviously, we are in the hospital a lot, and they definitely make it creepy. And you are there for a long time. So, that really makes a difference in this film. If you're invested in that, you're going to be fine. If you're not a big fan of that, then you're going to have some more issues with it. But I do think overall, but I think the atmosphere overall was really good. The beginning of the film on the streets, Loomis, hunting things down with not only Brackett, but also with Hunt. And I think that was some cool stuff too. When they go back to the Myers house, it definitely felt like Halloween time. It felt like fall time, and I think that can be a challenge to do for some movies, even in this franchise, which we've seen. So I agree with you guys. I'm going to go with a solid 4 for atmosphere. I think they did a pretty good job with that. All right. Neil in the chat saying Halloween 2 is a top-notch slasher that still stands out among all the 1980s slashers, in my opinion. Yeah, I think it is a really good one. It really is. Let's see. Paul is saying the use of the pumpkins plays a factor. Yeah, I agree with that. It definitely helped out, no doubt. Troy is going with a 4, saying better than most, but not as good as the best in the franchise. Okay. All right. And Mayan, you beat me to the punch. You're all right. Thank you so much. It has the link in the chat for my latest video I put out today. Definitely, if you guys get a chance, check it out. I think you're going to enjoy it. If you're a fan of the 80s, if you're a fan of Cronenberg and The Fly, please check that out. I worked on that for over a week and a half. It took a long time. It was a long road, man. But definitely, thank you, man, for putting that in the chat. I appreciate that. Jericho going with a 4.5. Okay, very cool. All right, let's see what we have for our next category. Oh, yeah. There we go. That's awesome. Michael Myers himself. And if I'm not mistaken, I do think in every episode we've talked about Michael, maybe except for Rob Zombies. I can't remember, but This is a great category to talk about because obviously Michael is so important in this damn movie. So Coriander, what do you think about Michael Myers in this film, how he's depicted, obviously by the great Dick Warlock, and what's the point total you want to give it?
Well, I think he did pretty damn well. I will do a 4.5.
All right, we got a 4.5. Awesome, awesome. Kill, how about you? What do you think about Michael Myers in this film?
He's relentless. He's like, you're the one that got away, so I'm gonna walk from the other side of town to the hospital and kill you in your sleep. It's like, and kill everybody there that gets in my way. So he's kind of petty, and I like petty. Yeah, I mean, seriously, let's really think about this here. In Halloween Kills, he didn't try to get to the hospital. He was busy making everyone angry and feel the evil that's inside of them and spread it. And the town did the killing and evil stuff. But this one, he's like, nope, I'm not done with you yet. You're still alive. You're still breathing air. I gotta finish the fight. So I'm gonna give it a 4.5 because I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay, all right. And real quick too, before we get to you, Eric, in the chat, Man says we're at 46 likes. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
Let's
That's
get
what
to
I'm
50.
talking about. There you go. There you go. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. Wayne saying, I don't hate The Fly. I have it on this DVD edition. Well, that is awesome. You shouldn't. You should. You know, it's so funny. And thank you, May. May got to the point before I said it. She said, Wayne, just watch the video and get a surprise. That's exactly it. I've gotten so many people with this series. They will say, well, I didn't hate the movie. Well, I never said that you specifically did. Right? The series, yes, it's called Why You Hate, but I'm talking from my experience, things that I've heard people say, you know, personally, stuff that me and Kills talked about friggin' 30 years ago, people I've heard about online. So, but people get so personal, but well, I don't hate it. It was like, well, that's great. I'm glad you don't. Tell me why you don't. That's great. Too funny, man. All right. So, all right, Eric, what do you think about Michael in this film? What's the point total you want to give it?
I'm gonna give him a 4.
Okay.
Excuse me. I like Dick Warlock's portrayal. He is unrelenting, like Kill says. He'll walk, he'll walk the entire town just to get to the hospital. He's brutal. I like how we're really getting to see his strength. He picks up that one nurse from behind with just a scalpel in one arm. There's a lot of menacing shots, like when he sits up and he takes out the security guard, and the way he looks at the camera, that's pretty spooky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only reason, and I'm being fair, the only reason I'm not giving him a 5. It's not because of Warlock's portrayal. It's because what they did to the character. I'd rather have him going after Lori because she's the one that got away, instead of she just happens to be his sister. I don't want the family connection at all. I've always thought that's kind of dumb, in my opinion. And again, just the whole I mentioned it before, the draining the nurse with the blood. That's just so out of character. It's blood for blood's sake. And I've always said I like my gore and my blood and guts, but have a purpose, and it's just thrown in there because let's see what else he can do type of thing. But I still think it's a strong 4.
All right. Okay. Very, very cool. And Jericho saying that it ruined hospitals for him. That's right, man. Also, real quick, just to answer this question, old Hollywood was saying to May, where can we get those pumpkin emojis? Well, if you become a channel member, you do have those exclusive emojis. You just click the join button next to the subscribe button. And also you get exclusive content. You can hang out with us for private watch parties and private streams where only the channel members can chat with us. May, thank you for answering that as well. Definitely, I should remind people more of that. For you guys, for May and Val, if you're still here, if you could throw some more reminders in that would be great, because I'm sure some people might be wondering that. But yes, it is exclusive to channel members. Thank you so much. And May's got the link right there. Definitely, if you enjoy the content here, if you'd like to help support us, that is a great way to do it. Okay, so for me, when we talk about Michael in this movie, Dick Warlock, and it was the first time I had seen Michael, I think he does a really great job. I'll never forget, as a kid, one scene that really stuck in my mind that was scary, just the way it was shot and the way that Warlock did it, is when he's chasing Laurie at the end and he's going down the steps. Like, nobody walks down steps like that except for Michael. You know, he's going so slow. Like, gravity should be helping you along better, you know, but he is the fastest slow walker of all times. And he's just really weird, like an inhuman type of weirdness to him, creepiness. But I really enjoyed his portrayal. It was awesome. It's still one of my favorite portrayals of Michael in the franchise. So definitely, I agree with you two. I'm going to go with a 4.5 on this as well. I think it was a great depiction of Michael, no doubt. All right. Yeah, guys, we got Ginger Ninja putting up some emojis. May, yeah, that's right, man. Use those emojis, guys. Put those up there. Yes. Very, very cool. Thank you guys so much. We got Shape coming in with a $10 super chat. Shape, wow, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you. Wow. He says, it's time, Michael. Boom. I'm so good I can make it through an explosion and Michael goes sleepy for 10 years. And before that, I can go to a silver shamrock factory with another doctor and a woman. Oh, yeah. That's so true. Yes, indeed, man. The sacrifice at the end with Loomis was absolutely badass. It just showed what he was all about. Shape, thank you so much for the super chat, man. Seriously, that means a lot. And, you know, appreciate all your support and friendship and generosity. Thank you so much. And let's do a clip for him. And Kill, you know, sometimes when you're just kind of doing your own thing, you should be paying attention a lot more, because you never know what's around you. And it might look like this.
That's terrible.
Hey,
hey, you
That
keep your head on the
poor old
swivel.
lady.
Hey, listen.
Oh my
Kill.
God.
Look, listen. She's all right. Hey, listen, Kill. We learned a long time
Did you
ago.
hear her? Oh my God, she's okay. Oh my God, okay.
Hey, look, Kill. We learned a long time ago from the late great John Saxon in Enter the Dragon. You got to keep your eyes out on the ref, man. You know, that's, you know, if you know, you know. Shape, thank you so much and giving me the opportunity to play that. Shout out to you, Kill, for getting that one to me. That was awesome.
Wow.
We Eric, we got Frank in the house. What's up, Frank? Good to see you. Good to see you. Old Hollywood saying, that slow robotic walk down the stairwell. I know, it's like he was just chilling. He was tiptoeing through the tulips, man. He was just tiptoeing. He was having fun. We got Steven saying 4.5 for Mr. Warlock. He nailed it as Michael. Yes, I agree, man. We got Mary in the chat. What's up, Mary? Saying she's a fan of Warlock. The way he moved was awesome. A 5 in my book. All right. Saying hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing good. Awesome. Awesome. Troy going with a 3.5, saying he does give us some good kills, but he's a little too stiff for me. Well, there you go. Gina is in the house. What's up, Gina? Good to see you. All right. And Neil, exactly. That's exactly what this new series I'm doing is about. He says, name any great horror movie that you can think of, and you can think of someone who hates it or maybe is not a fan of it. But I'm telling you, man, look in the comments of those videos, man. There's always someone that says, I don't hate it. It's like, okay, that's good.
Watch
I don't
the whole
either.
video before you comment. That's the thing. Yeah.
Let me put it, Eric, you're all right. You sound like a content creator, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh man. And Wayne, I know you were joking, man. But I had to say that because there's so many people that they're not joking. They mean it. I had one guy said, I've never heard of anyone say that they weren't a fan of The Fly. They said you're kind of stretching credibility there. And I'm like, okay. It's like, I mean, oh man, you gotta love it.
That's when you just respond by saying thanks for the interaction because it helps your channel. That's
it. Well, exactly. No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. We got Brizzy in the house. Welcome to the chat. Hope you're enjoying the conversation and welcome to the community. I don't think I've seen you in live chat before. Saying, think the fans should put on their thinking caps for a new concept for our own Hollywood Halloween movie. By the way, a new Halloween movie is in the works. They crushed the wrong body. There you go. There you go. No doubt at all. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Paul is also putting in some emojis. There you go. Very, very cool. And Neil, that's right. You guys are all right, man. You know what's going on. It's education as well. Very cool. Okay. Let's go to our next category. Let's spin this sucker. This one is for me to start off. Oh, yeah, baby. This is awesome. Okay. Very cool. Okay. And we haven't had this in every stream. And I think this is a really good category, man. The it factor. So what we're talking about is the entertainment value of the film. How much do you enjoy it? Is it rewatchable? That's what the it factor is. That's what we're scoring in this category, just to put that out there for folks that have not seen us do one of these streams yet. And by the way, we do have a playlist for the Great Halloween Debates, so check that out. All of the streams where we're doing the debates and ultimately coming to an end when we rank the franchise based on the scores. Check out that playlist. So for me, the it factor is high because I absolutely enjoy this film so much. I feel that it's so rewatchable too. It's interesting because I wish we had more Laurie in it, but because it's so Loomis centric, I'm a big fan of that because Loomis is such a great character and one of my favorites. So when I think of It Factor for Halloween 2, and not even just counting when I do this as a double feature with 78, but just on its own, I went through a period of time when I would just put this on as a comfort movie. I'm going to go with a 4.5 for the It Factor. It's very entertaining for me. It's very rewatchable, and I just enjoy it so much. Kill, how about you, man? What do you think about the It Factor?
Somebody in the chat kind of said it best that this is a comfort movie. And I totally agree with that. It's super rewatchable. And like I said earlier, it's very Loomis centric, which for me makes it just an amazing Loomis film. Where he's tagged up with the police, the officers, the sheriff, and then he also gets tag team with the nurse, I believe.
Nurse Marion.
Yes. And all the while, he's right behind, Michael at every step. He's right behind.
Right.
So for me, I would give it a 5 because it's very rewatchable, and the atmosphere is there, and it's a lot of Loomis. So that's always a good day for me.
Awesome, man. We got a 5 in there. Very, very cool. Real quick before I get to you, Eric, we got Rachel in the chat. And what's going on, Rachel? Saying, hey, all, just wanted to stop by to say hello. Can't stay. Having a very minor operation done today, but we'll definitely check out the replay. Well, thank you so much, Rachel. Hope you're doing okay, and definitely hope everything goes well with the operation. Reach out and let us know how you're doing. And all of us, our thoughts are with you, seriously. But thank you for stopping by. It's very kind of you. It really, really is. All right. Eric, how about you? Hey, Russell's in the chat too. What's going on, Russell? Good to see you. Doing well. Good. Eric, what do you think about for the It Factor, and what's the point you're going to give for it?
This is the hardest category for me. I've said it many times, and I've surprised a lot of people who don't know me personally, like in the horror community. I don't really have a huge love for the franchise. You know what I mean? I don't have a huge connection to it, but I'm also really fair. You know what I mean? And the reason why this is tough, because we talk about rewatchability. There's some of the bad entries, air quotes, I might put on instead of Halloween 2. You know what I mean? Because I look at, in my opinion, the fun factor. You know what I mean? I can have fun with the negative stuff. To be fair, I'm going to give it a 3 based on my last couple watches. I really like Loomis. I really like Michael. But like I said before, there are times when it's really, really good, and then for me, it's really slow. It kind of loses the pacing. I kind of lose interest. You know what I mean? The scene where he's stalking the cop, that went on for way too long, in my opinion. I kind of lost interest there. I wish they'd done more with Laurie. I don't like, again, the sister brother connection, but it's on a technical aspect and as a horror film, I think it's really well done. But the it factor, like, I hate to say it, like, I'd probably put on H2O before I would put on Halloween 2 for rewatchability, and that's just my personal taste. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think for me, I think giving a 3 is pretty fair.
All right. Okay. And before I get to you, Coriander, real quick, folks in the chat definitely sending out positive vibes and prayers to Rachel. Thank you guys so much. It's very kind of you guys to do that. As always, you guys are just awesome. Neil coming in saying that lady scream in the clip got my cats all riled up. Thanks, I guess. There we go. You're welcome, man. We got Donovan in the chat. Welcome to the chat. He's laughing at the clip too. Thank you for being here. We appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying it. We got Chuck in the chat. We got Ronan in the house. What's up? Good to see you,
Ronan.
man. Hope you're doing well. We got Troy coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Troy. We appreciate that. Saying justice for Ben Tramer. With all the retconning, we couldn't put the mythical legend on screen. The cream of off-screen reference characters. That's a good point, man. Poor Ben. I tell you.
Was he ever referenced in Green's trilogy? With all the retcon? Was he? Okay.
Yeah, in Kills, when Frank is in the hospital with Laurie and they're kind of talking about how they had a romance, and he said to Laurie, he said, "But I always knew that you were sweet for Ben Tramer."
That's right.
Yep. Yeah, which I thought was cool to do that, to kind of, you got to give Ben Tramer a little bit of credit, man. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Troy,
it's not his fault. The cop car was driving 90 miles an hour.
Right?
He was just getting candy.
Just getting candy, man. Let's do a clip for Troy. I know he enjoys this one. Here we go, man.
But the cream, yeah, let me say it here. Let me say it out loud. Yeah, you mean Gene Okerlund. You know that I'm the cream. I am the cream, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. There you go, man. All right. Very, very cool. Okay. So Coriander, what do you think about for the it factor? The rewatchability, how much fun you have with this film, or how much it entertains you?
Well, this isn't like high on my list for rewatchability. I mean, if I was to choose one, this wouldn't be it. So yeah, like Eric, I'm not a fan of the whole brother sister bullshit. I never was. And unfortunately, like, I'm not saying it's a terrible movie, but for me, I'm gonna go like 2.5.
Wow. Okay. All right. We got a 2.5 for entertainment value. Wow. I'd hate to see Resurrection. I'm just
Oh God.
Jeez. All right.
Yeah, you would.
Mayan's got the link for the great Halloween debates. Thank you so much, May. I appreciate that. Definitely check those out if you haven't already. Robert saying one of the most rewatchable, especially the beginning. I agree. It's a very rewatchable. I dig it. I dig it. Neil saying H2 is one of the few films I can see on TV and just start watching from any point in the film. That's really well said. Yeah, that's great. I like that. That's true. I feel the same way. I feel the same way. And Val's listening in right now while she's eating dinner. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ronan saying this was my favorite Halloween movie until I saw Kills. Well, there you go. Very cool. Shape saying Laurie Strode's wig looks so good on her, no doubt. There you go. And we got Ronan gifting a membership in the chat. Hey man, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Very, very kind and generous of you, Ronan. You've been doing so much of that, and wow, it's awesome. Looks like it's going to Joseph. So Joseph is now one of our members. Definitely give a shout out, show some love to Ronan, who's always just so generous and so supportive of this community. It's really, really cool, man. So cool. All right. Mayanne saying, are we gonna get to 60 likes? There we go. That's what I like. We're reaching. Very, very cool.
Nice. Yeah.
So that would be cool. That would be cool. Okay, let's go to our next category. Let's spin this wheel and let's see what we get. Kill, you'll be starting us off with this category. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right. Interesting. All right, characters. The characters in this film, Kill, I mean, from A to Z, what do you think of them? How'd you connect to them? And what's the point that you want to give?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, there are a plethora of characters, but then in a way there aren't. They're kind of broken into segments, like who's with Loomis for this portion, who's with him for that portion, who dies, what orderly is still around to help protect, our heroine. This is hard. I'm gonna say, I guess the way I'm also trying to look at this is how much importance the characters have to the story. And unfortunately, the main one for me is Loomis, as far as adding importance to it and what's going on. And of course, Laurie, but Laurie is sidelined, rightfully so, for most of it. I'm gonna go 3.5 because I do like all the characters, and especially the ones that tag team with Loomis. But I also feel like some are not really used at all, like Laurie, for obvious reasons. So yeah, 3.5.
Okay, all right. Eric, how about you? What do you think about in general the characters?
Okay, just one question. Even though we've already discussed him, does this also include Michael, or is it everyone but him?
No, it includes everyone, including Michael.
Okay, then I'm going to give it a 3.5. And the 3.5 is literally based on Michael and Loomis. I've already talked about how much I do enjoy Michael overall. Loomis is Loomis. How many times can we not praise Donald Pleasance, especially in the earlier films when he doesn't go so batshit? You know what I mean? Like but the reason why it's not higher is because honestly, and it's not. I'm not saying I hate the other characters. I just don't care about them. You know what I mean? These are the characters that are just there. I don't really care about the nurses so much because I don't get to know them. I don't really like Bud, but I don't hate him. He's there. Jimmy he's there. You know what I mean? So they don't, to me, they don't really serve a purpose other than just, meat for the grinder. And if it wasn't for adding Michael, I'd probably just give it a 3 for Loomis alone. But since Michael's included, a 3.5.
All right. Okay. Coriander, how about you? What do you think about the characters in general?
I mean, besides Laurie, Michael, and Loomis,
and they are included in this category.
Right. I'm just saying that I could give two shits about everybody else. So I guess I'll give it a just because I like those characters, but I'm not a fan of the movie. So it's like, I'm just going to go 3, man.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right. That's so interesting because you've never really said that to me before, that you didn't like this movie. And we've watched this movie a bunch of times, especially as double features.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, babe. I watch it for you.
Has it changed over time? Because there were times that you've said you've enjoyed it, And I remember things very well. When we talk about movies, it's a content creator
Yeah.
thing. I remember things really well. What we watch, what we don't, and what you say.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on the mood,
Yeah,
and
that's
how
fair.
close we've watched it,
Hmm.
from one another. So,
That's fair.
yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's a big fact. Like for me personally too, I got to be in the right mood for this Halloween movie. I can put
Hmm.
Mm.
on 4 no matter how I'm feeling. You know what I mean? Because I know
Hmm.
what I'm. This one has more mood and atmosphere than like part 4, in my opinion. So
Hmm.
you have to be in the right mind frame for it.
Yeah, very cool. But you were saying that for 4, you could throw it on at any time.
Pretty much, yeah. Because
Yeah.
there's that's more based on, in my opinion, like a fun factor thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
This is more like they're trying to scare you in this one,
Right.
so you have to
Good
be in
point.
that mind frame.
That's an excellent point, man. Well said. And it makes you think, it's just interesting to think about that for different movies as far as
Hmm.
what you rewatch and why. What are the reasons? So, um, and May's put the link in the chat for our Patreon. Thank you so much, May. We really appreciate that. Again, if you guys would like to help support the channel, if you're enjoying the content, if you're here with us week in and week out, we're here every week, multiple days a week. If you'd like to help support us, that's one way that you could do it. So we appreciate that. And Jeff's in the house too. What's up, Jeff? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Said, hey, what's up, everyone? All right. Kenny's in the house too.
Mm.
All right. Saying 78 is a classic. It sure is. No doubt about that. Troy is going with a 2.5, sidelining Lori for a bunch of nobodies that are just there to die was a mistake. All right. Okay. Julie says we're at 54 likes. Awesome. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. Please do. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
Val, thank you for putting that link in there as well. Okay. We got Sarah in the house too. What's up, Sarah? Thank you for
There she
joining
is.
us.
Hey.
We appreciate
Hey.
that. Very cool to see you here. Okay. For me, for characters, I think that I agree with you guys. I mean, there's a lot of characters that are just there. But then again, that happens in most horror movies. So I'm not necessarily gonna ding the movie for that, especially when we talk about slasher films. That's just kind of what happens. The flip side of that, what I like to focus on is the fact that we got a fantastic performance by Loomis, and it was Loomis centric. When I look at 1 and then 2, it's almost like it's a role reversal. In the first film, we did get some Loomis, but it was Laurie's film. She was definitely being stalked and dealing with it and so forth. And now we get the flip side of it. Loomis is on the hunt because he knows that Michael is still out there, and a lot of people don't believe him. So I think it was an awesome way to do the film, to be quite honest. So they didn't do the same thing they did in 78. Again, with horror movies, it's funny because you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. If we had another movie where Laurie spent most of the movie avoiding Michael or being stalked by Michael, people would say, oh, it's the same thing from the first one. This movie tried to do something different where they took, the final girl and sidelined her. The movie was still about her, but she wasn't the main focus. The hero, or Van Helsing, I call him, from the first film was the focus. And I thought that was great. Loomis alone carries this really high for me for characters and including Dick Warlock. So I agree with you guys. I'm going to go with a 3.5 for my score for characters because, again, Loomis, this is one of my favorite Loomis films. And that says a lot
Mhm.
because I love him in all the films. But he was just so good. Jeff saying it too. Loomis, the best thing in Halloween 2. Yeah, man. No doubt. Ronan's coming in again, gifting another channel membership. That is crazy, man. It went to Brian.
Nice.
Brian,
Very
give
cool.
a shout out to brother Ronan. Holy crap, man. Thank you so much, Ronan. We appreciate you, man. Awesome stuff.
Mhm.
Awesome stuff. And May's working hard in this chat, man. She's got the link for Halloween Fest too. She's putting links right and left. She's keeping track of everything. Thank you so much. We appreciate that, May. Kenny is going up with a 2.5 out of 5 for characters for Halloween 2. All right. Awesome stuff. Okay, let's go back to the wheel. Eric, this is going to be for you,
Hmm.
looking to get into our 9th category. So we're almost at the end here. All right. The story The story for this film only, A to Z. What do you think about the story for Halloween 2, and what's your point that you want to give it?
A to Z from beginning to end. And you said it's just for this movie, so we're not, we're taking the ending as it is, and that's why I'm going to give this score. I'm going to give it a solid 4. Despite what I said about the it factor, story wise, I think it's a solid 4. I like how he's just a psychopath out on the town. You know what I mean? And he will take out anybody in his way to get to the Haddonfield Hospital. I love the way this was going to end. You know what I mean? We closed the book in 1981. We're closing the book on Michael Myers. It's a great way to end this. The reason why I'm not giving it a 5 story-wise is, again, the brother-sister connection. If it was just him, like I said, trying to get the one that got away, in my opinion, that would make more sense. And there's little things here and there that I don't like that, but that's just nitpick. Overall, I think it's a pretty strong story because it's pretty similar to the first one. And I think, story-wise for the first one, I'd probably give it like that, a 4.5. You add the brother-sister thing, I'm just going to take off half a point. So I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay. All right. We're going with a 4. Coriander, how about you? What do you think we should give for the story?
Well, I don't really like the whole brother-sister thing. Y'all know that. The whole Sam Hain bullshit is bullshit because look what it birthed. Bullshit.
Yeah, but we didn't know that in 81, so we're only
I know, but I'm just
grading
saying.
it for 81.
I'm just saying.
Come on now.
Still. And yeah, not my favorite story. I do like how it took place after, the same night. I do like that. But that's about it. So I'm gonna go 2.
Wow. Okay.
You're learning new things tonight, Knight.
Man, I tell you. Kill, save us on this, man. What do you think for the story?
I will, because I occasionally watch 1 and 2 together as one full movie. This is easily a 4.5. Because for me, it's a continuation, and anytime you do a sequel where the continuity, it still feels like it's the same movie, and they just pick up, minutes, half an hour later, and just kind of keep that same flow going. I got to give it props for that. So 4.5.
Okay. All right. Real quick in the chat before I give my score, Jeff saying I give the story a 4 overall. It's good. Okay. Catherine saying I give it a 4.5. It would have been great to see them wheel Michael out of the hospital. Well, there you go. Very cool. Paul is going with a 5. Val going 3.5. Can't rate it higher because I dislike the family connection storyline. Okay. Yeah. All right. Neil saying Loomis and Michael die at the end of this movie, and I will die on this hill. And there you go. Julie going with a 3.5. Kenny going with a 3.5. Mario going with a 2.5. All right. Troy saying story goes for 3. Don't like the sibling angle. Don't like what they did with Laurie. Along with the kills, this feels a little too Jason-esque for me. Ooh, interesting. Now, I will say this, which is interesting, and Troy, you might have seen this, and I've done tons of content on this in both franchises, Friday and Halloween. There's no doubt that they were inspired by Friday the 13th. As a matter of fact, they added in kills because of Friday the 13th, specifically that kill with the girl that lived on the street that was talking to Mrs. Elrod and stuff like that, because of what was going on in Friday the 13th. It's funny. These two franchises have been going back and forth with each other. Halloween comes out. Sean Cunningham says, let's rip it off. They do Friday the 13th. They have Tom Savini with a bunch of kills. And then when Halloween 2 comes out, they're like, well, we got to up the kills and the intensity in the film. And it really went back and forth so much. You look at Halloween 4 with Michael in the hospital with the EMTs. You look at Friday 4 with the EMTs and stuff like that. So it's just really Axel. It's really interesting how these two films go back and forth. So Ronan saying for story, he's going with a 5. All right. For me, I think the story, again, I appreciate the story continuing, like you said, continuing off of the original. I thought that was really cool. I mean, like literally right after the original. Like some films will continue after the previous film, but it's not like right there, like the next second what happens. This one did, and it felt very Carpenter-esque. Rick Rosenthal, I think, did a really good job with kind of keeping that vibe. Again, it's a great Loomis movie. Michael's good. He's coming to the hospital. There's nowhere to run. You're injured. I really enjoyed it. It was a really good setup and a great finale. I also will give it a 4.5, just like you, Kill. All right. Okay. You guys are funny in the chat. We got emojis all over the place. That's awesome, man. Mary saying, what just came to me, Loomis has to be supernatural because he was alive in 4, even though he died in 2. There you go.
With just a little burn mark.
A little burn on his hands and his face. That's right. Yep. Neil saying it's a pretty damn good movie for something that Carpenter didn't even want to ever exist. Exactly. They overcame a lot, including not even wanting to do it. So I agree with that. Okay, let's go to possibly our final category here. And Coriander, you'll be starting off the conversation for this. Let's see where this lands. This could be our 10th category here. Ooh, 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 ooh. Will it? Okay. Wow. The directing for the film, Rick Rosenthal stepped in for Carpenter. Carpenter helped out a little bit here and there, because he was obviously, behind the scenes a little bit, drinking beer and stuff. But Coriander, what do you think about the directing of this film? As far as, was it good directing, the scenes, the camera, the characters, the kills, Michael, and so forth? What do you give a point for it?
I mean, for what he was given, sure, he did pretty good. Like I said, it was dark at some points in that hospital where sometimes I just wish it was a little lighter. But besides that, I mean, he did pretty damn good. So with that being said, I guess I will give him a 4.
Okay. All right. We're going with a 4. In the chat, Jeff saying, I thought he did a pretty good job as a director. I give him a 4.5. A-Troll saying 4.5 for directing. Ronan saying directing is a 4.5. All right. Kill, what do you think?
I'm right there with the 4.5, because not only do you have to direct this movie, you have to keep the tone, you have to keep the vibe, the flow, because it takes place minutes after the first movie. And for me, the continuity is all there, and it feels like one long full movie if you watch 1 and 2 together. So yeah.
All right, well said. Eric, how about you?
I already said he was, the cinematography was great, but there's other stuff that's going to bring me down. I'm going to give it a fair 3.5. Rick knows how to use the camera. You know what I mean? And we've already discussed, a lot of the shots. But then there's some other choices that, as the director, you could have said no. You could have found a better wig. You know what I mean? Because if it's continuity, we praise continuity, and continuity, especially in this franchise, is all over the place. Eventually. So that I can ding it for that. I can ding it for some of the performances. I don't think, even though she's supposed to be, on Painkillers, Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't really give a strong performance until like maybe the very end, in my opinion. Loomis is great, but that's because Donald Pleasance is great. You don't need a good director to get a great performance out of Donald Pleasance. Right. And then some of the choices, like Coriander said, how it is dark, like that scene, and I'm not knocking it, again, the scene where the nurse is being drained. that room is so dark it looks like she's floating in the air. You know what I mean?
That's true.
You could have fixed that a little, just little choices. I don't know how early in his career this was, but some choices you could have fixed because you are the director. You know what I mean? Lots of times you do have final say so, and some of the things I don't like, not story wise, because he didn't write it to my knowledge, but a lot of the things that are on camera he could have fixed and he didn't. So, but he gave some pretty damn good shots. So I think 3.5.
All right, 3.5. Okay. For me, I think he did I think he did a really good job. You guys made great points. To be in the situation he was in, you got to remember too, Halloween was such a big hit. We're talking 1978. It made so much money, it was so much hype, and here you are following up to that. I mean, that's a pretty big task. And the concept of it following right after the events of the first film, that's tough because it is about the continuity. How do you do that? What are you going to do? Your final girl is injured. What are you going to do about that? What are the choices you're going to make? Now, they could have done what we've seen later on in the franchise, and all of a sudden you've got a new final character, which would have really diminished Laurie, and what she did in 78. Fortunately, they didn't do that. I think that would have been a really bad choice. Shout out to Halloween 5 killing Rachel in the first 3 minutes of the film, which was ridiculous. So I do think there was some great choices that he made, some great moments. I love that kill with the syringe. I think that kill is as good as the scene in 78 when he comes out of the darkness, because in that scene in 78, he's in another room coming towards Laurie. In Halloween 2, he's in the same room with the nurse, and just the way, and that's credit to Dean Cundy as well, the cinematography and the lighting. But there were some great moments in this film. So I think he did a hell of a job. I'm gonna go with a 4 for directing. I'm gonna go with a 4. I think there was some really good stuff. I agree with Coriander. Some moments that were a little too dark, and some choices that were kind of like, whatever. But overall, yeah, I think he did a great job. I really do. It was a good follow-up to a classic. All right. So those are our 10 categories. We went through 10. This is awesome, man. We went through, just to backtrack. We got some folks that are just jumping in. We got Destin in the house saying, "Am I late?" It's all good, brother. Check out the replay. This has been so much fun, man. Mary going with a 4.5 because Rick made it seem so real. There you go. But we went through 10 categories. We went through the sound design. Of course, we talked about The Mask. We talked about Final Girl. We talked about cinematography, atmosphere, Michael himself, the it factor, the characters, the story, and finally, the director himself. And we scored them. A lot of interesting scores. I will be tallying those up. If you are a channel member or a Patreon member, I will reveal that final score to you guys, so you guys will know what it is. Keep a lookout on the community tabs and also on Patreon, and you guys will find out what's going on. I'm interested to see what this total will be for it. I really, really am. Any final thoughts, Kill, as we get ready to head on out for Halloween 2, 1981?
I mean, based off of just this conversation, it shows how possibly divisive this film is. The lack of Laurie really being a character, the darkness of it, the setting, the robotic movements, but if you haven't watched it in a while, don't write it off. Don't, I know it's been retconned, but it's still a good movie. And as someone said in the chat, it's a comfort movie. And it's very rewatchable, at least to me.
Yeah, well said. And Destin saying, not gonna lie, Halloween 2 is the one that made me a Halloween fan. There you go. Very, very cool. It was the first one I ever saw, so awesome stuff. Val reminding people, leave a comment in the comment section. Absolutely, we didn't get to everyone's comments. We couldn't, but talk with us in the comment section. Keep the conversation going. A lot of cool stuff you guys were talking about. Eric, how about you? Any final thoughts on Halloween 2?
I don't want people to have taken my participation tonight as me not liking this film because I gave it some low scores. But that's just how it is when we're going with the category. It doesn't mean I dislike this film. I don't. It's just one of those, like I said, I got to be in the right mood because, like I said, when I explained it earlier, the people who made this one, they're trying to make a scary movie. And sometimes you have to be in that mind frame to want to watch a scary movie.
That's right.
Sometimes you might want to watch one that's more actiony, you know what I mean? Like 4, or something that's like pure schlock that is so bad it's not good, but so bad it's good, like Resurrection. One, you're gonna put on with a group of people that no one's gonna pay attention unless it's like the bad part. So, that's what I mean here. But this is a good film. It's got a really good Michael, and there is some tension, some claustrophobia, but it's not one I'm going to return to often, unless maybe I'm doing a marathon or if I'm a guest on any YouTuber's channel to discuss it.
All right, well said. Coriander, how about you? Final thoughts?
Well, no, that's all right. I'm sorry.
All right.
It's been a long
Man,
day.
You're breaking his heart tonight. You really are.
I'm telling you, man, we're trying to cap
Well,
this thing off. Mayan saying this was such a fun stream. Thank you, Mayan. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
We definitely hope that you guys are having fun with it. Catherine also saying thank you for the live stream. I look forward to the next. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We'll be back next week and doing Battle World, and we're going to be doing more of these Halloween debates. And Eric, to your point too, that's one reason why with these panels, what I've been trying to do is make sure they're balanced, because we want people that know these movies, but we also want people that might have some interesting viewpoints on it too, because I really want this final ranking. And again, we're leading up to that, a final ranking of the franchise to be, in my opinion, very accurate. You know what I'm saying? So
that's why I was all for, like, last week when we were offline and it was decided to do this one, because it wasn't one of my favorites. And I knew that the last time, like when I did a video on it, I didn't hate on it, but it just wasn't one of my favorites. But the way we do it, like with Battle World or tonight, you can find the good when you're forced to, like cinematography. This movie is great with that type of stuff.
Right.
So even though I found some of the overall picture of it kind of boring, I gave that like a 4.5. You know what I mean? So I can find the good in something that I'm just kind of okay with. So
yeah. I mean, and breaking it down like this, just like we do for Battle World, I love doing that because it forces you to be honest. We always have people, whether it's fans or detractors, and they'll say no, it's a bad movie, or hey, it's the best movie. But it's like, well, if you break it down, you might feel a little bit different. Like last night when we were talking about Zombies Halloween 2, there were some good scores in there. There were some really good scores. And it's not that I hate the movie, but I do have issues with it.
Yeah.
But if I'm being honest, really being honest, I can Val says no lying.
Right.
Exactly.
I was
you gotta
there
be
last
honest.
night, and they were completely honest and quite fair with stuff that they've always said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I appreciated about last night. It wasn't just hating on it to hate on it. If you didn't like it, you guys, everyone on the panel had reasons to not like whatever category that you guys threw out, or you also gave credit where credit due. Ronan, God bless him, he was even giving credit where credit's due. You know what I mean?
Man, it got a couple of 5s, bro. It got a couple of 5s. I mean, so that's the proof in the pudding right there. And also, Neil, you're right. If you guys haven't subscribed to Eric's channel, make sure you guys do that. We've had the link in the chat and in the description. And also, like Neil is saying, check out Eric's upcoming videos on the Howling franchise.
Wow. I'm not excited, but I'm interested. I thank you, Neil. I'm almost at 1,400 subs, which I'm pushing for. But I did a couple polls, and it was between Phantasm and the Howling.
Yeah,
I had some good franchises in there, but those were the two, and we could never get a definitive winner. So I did a little YouTube short. I walked into my daughter's room. I told her which one should I do, and she said werewolf. So I'm like, I'm stuck with the Howling. I'm interested. I don't enjoy the first Howling, which is sad because Joe Dante is my favorite director. But I know how batshit it gets, especially with part 2 from what you've said, Knight. So it'll be an interesting time.
Yeah, Christopher Lee
there's like
was
7 or 8
never
of them
any better.
too. So
there is. Yes. Awesome stuff, man. definitely.
It was
It'll be
either
fun
between
hearing
that or Puppet Master. So I told my daughter, "Don't feel bad. Both choices were the wrong choices anyway." So
it. Right. All right. Hey, real quick too, as we head on out, Ronan once again stepping up to the plate, trying to build up this community, gifting 5 memberships again. Wow. Thank you,
Wow, that's
brother.
right.
Man,
Yeah.
you're helping to end this month on a good note. Thank you so much. The community is strong. It's a positive community. People are, becoming good friends, and you're a big part of that. Thank you so much. We got Gina back in the fold, DKC, Jonathan, Eddie, and Blazin. Thank you so much, Ronan. Seriously, I appreciate you. We appreciate you. The community does as well. And he said, "Nuff said. Good night." There you go. You're all right, man. You're all right. And Neil reminding you, Eric, wait till you get to the Howling 4. Yeah. Yeah. Mary saying thank you. Night, Coriander, Killian, and Eric. You made my night wonderful. Oh, that's awesome.
good to hear.
Oh,
That's what
yeah.
we want. That's what
Yeah.
we want.
Definitely.
All right, guys. So we will catch you guys next time. Thank you for hanging out. Again, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps to support us. Check out the Why You Hate series, especially my latest one from today, The Fly. I would really appreciate that. Leave me a comment. I'm hoping that you guys can check it out and help support it. A lot of time went into doing it. So thank you for that. And we will catch you guys next time. As always, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.
Cheers.
Peace.
Sure.